42 minutes past 7 a.m. and you're still watching Sunrise at Sea right here on CTV, and the conversation continues from the first part of the Twitter jabs. We're now into the second part of the Twitter jabs, and today we are discussing the Makerere University strikes over online classes that took place on Monday and Tuesday. It had about 10 students arrested who have since been released. About 12 students have been suspended, while it has been very unfortunate for one other student who lost his right hand after a tear gas canister exploded on him. And in studio with me today to deliberate and give us answers as to why this keeps happening in Makerere University is a Ugandan mathematician, an academic administrator. He was also the acting vice chancellor of the University of that is the Uganda Technology and Management University, and also the 14th vice chancellor of Makerere University. Ladies and gentlemen, in studio with me is Professor Venasius Bayamureba. Good morning, Professor.
Here. Good morning. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I looked at your qualification and your career aspirations, and if I sat down to tell everybody how much you have accomplished, especially in the education sector.
I started from math and went into computer science.
Yes, you did. And you also started as a teaching assistant at Makerere University and later rose through the ranks. So you are the best person to please help us understand. And to begin off this interview,
I'm an alumnus of Makerere University.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are. So you bleed and sweat Makerere University. You're in the embodiment.
I love it.
Yeah. You're the embodiment of Makerere University. So for my first question, are strikes the only way that the students at Makerere University feel like they can be heard by the administrators?
Yes and no. You know, when you talk about strikes, they are not only by students, at times they are by staff also.
Yes.
And strikes always come up more or less as the last resort.
Yes.
And I think the most important issue is to keep the communication channels open.
Yes.
But there are also instances, like when I was at Makerere University, some of the strikes were being instigated by people from outside the institution.
Instigated by outside the institution?
There would
How
be
so?
strikes, like, people like, trying to ensure that, there is instability within the institution.
Was it partisan? Was it partisan?
Not necessarily. Makerere University is a very complex institution. There are so many people with various interests, and at times those interests do not work in the best interest of the institution.
Yes.
So like if you're a vice chancellor and somebody wants you to be seen as somebody who is not in charge,
yes,
they will try to mobilize and have some strikes within the institution, and like you're always trying to handle strikes and so on.
Yes.
But when it comes to the issue of the students, not at Makerere University, one of the things that I had to do was to keep in close contact with the students, with the student leadership, to always know what their issues are. And if you always come in and try to solve their issues, they'll not go on strike. But for example, if you are demanding for better food and you don't have the money to buy them chicken every day, definitely they'll finally go on strike.
Yes.
But there are issues that can be resolved.
How can these issues be resolved without it having to come into a dire situation where now students are even losing their limbs and getting crippled?
Yes, but you see, when you look at, for example, the student community,
yes,
they have leadership. They don't just wake up and strike. So you have to be in constant touch with the student leadership. If it is to do with staff, you have to be in touch with the staff associations.
Yes.
So you'll get feeders. When there's going to be a strike, you'll know. And then you can negotiate with them and ensure it's called off.
Okay. So how feasible is the online classes for Makerere University in particular? Because I know a number of private universities in Uganda have started online classes even way before the pandemic happened. For Makerere University, it came in with the pandemic. But for a number of private universities, it was there a lot much earlier.
Actually, so Makerere University was the first university in the whole of East Africa to start online classes, what we call e-learning.
Yes.
And that was in 2001.
Yes.
There was a project funded by the Netherlands government in the Institute of Computer Science, where I was director, and we took our staff to Netherlands.
Yes.
They trained on how to teach online. We came back, trained people across the public universities in Uganda.
Yes.
And then we continued building on e-learning.
Yes.
But when we talk about ICT, not everybody is conversant with ICT.
Yes.
So even we trained staff on how to use ICT. And it was a gradual process. There was resistance. But finally, majority of the staff at Makerere University started using ICT.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to online education, of course, during COVID, we've been able to ensure that students move online.
Yes.
But it takes time. And secondly, you have to know that as much as students are going online, there is the issue of facilitating the staff.
Yes.
I don't know whether the staff are well facilitated to have like iPads, to have data, because like even when we attend Zoom meetings, like you can go in a Zoom meeting, not just for Makerere, but any Zoom meeting is taking place.
Yes. You
find that somebody is talking, someone you can't even hear.
Yes.
You've had that.
Yes.
So the ones of Makerere, are they well facilitated to ensure that their connections are good? And if they are, how about access for the students? The students, when they are not in the physical classroom, they have to access the online classroom.
Yes.
So the issue of access is very, very important. You may find that the student who doesn't have a smartphone, does not have an iPad, does not have data.
There's also the issue of electricity.
Electricity, somebody's phone may not be charged. There are places, like recently I was in Western Uganda, there are places where you cannot even get an MTN network. So if I'm in a village and I have to move far away every day, maybe using 10,000, it becomes very expensive.
Yes.
So to me, and there are also programs that you cannot just teach online.
Yes.
The practical programs, the practical courses. So to me, the university needs to really understand these challenges, and maybe it's not just Makerere University, it's all universities, so that they move into mixed mode.
Yes.
The students can come back on campus, and then like they have some of the lectures online, others like face-to-face.
Yes.
That one will cool down things. But I don't think we can continue teaching just online.
Okay.
It's not just for Makerere. I think it's for all institutions. We need to prepare. Of course, people in the past used to say online education is useless.
Yes.
But now face-to-face can be via video conferencing.
Yes.
I don't have to be here in the studio. Could have been wherever I am, and we just have this conversation.
Yes.
But you see, that takes time. It requires resources, it requires preparation, and we have not prepared enough. Yes, even foreign universities have gone back into full-time session.
That is true. Well, we had a tweet that came in from a lady called Judith, and she said, I, for one, I support the ongoing strike at Makerere University. You can't make students pay about 850,000 Uganda shillings as functional fees, yet these kids are studying from home. I think she meant to say students are studying from home. So she said, do you know what functional fees are? That is using the university hospital facilities, Wi-Fi, library, sports fees, etc. So one of the people on Twitter did say that why put them on online classes and then still expect them to pay, these functional fees? Does that make sense?
That's what I'm basically talking about.
Yes.
In institutions where like the functional fees are split, you are saying that you are paying less 50,000 to access internet on campus.
Yes.
Now they are not on campus, So these are some of the discussions that like institutions should have with their students. Now, of course, somebody will say this money was paid in, whether you are not on campus or far away, it is okay. But you have to know some of the students are from poor families. And when they pay that money, and then expect them to also get data and load it on their phones,
yes,
acquire smartphones, it becomes a bit complex.
Yes, it
and
does.
I think there is the need for like some kind of discussion, some kind of negotiation. But to me, the ultimate way out, because we have opened the economy,
yes,
we've opened institutions. The least I expect of a public university is to open and let students come back,
yes,
So then you can plan and see how best you can have online a mixture blended learning. But also, you see, we've been able to monitor lectures like in classrooms. Whenever semester would begin at Makerere when I was VC, I would go around. Academic registrar would go around. Deans and so would say, go around and see whether people are teaching.
Yes.
Now, when it comes to monitoring online teaching, the head of department, the dean, you have to go online. And some of these people who are supposed to monitor teaching online, I don't think they have already gotten those skills. And it's not just for Makerere, across the institutions. So when you're moving into a new system, you have to prepare. And that preparation is necessary, and I don't think they have done that.
Exactly. So what advice would you give to the Vice Chancellor now, that's Professor Barnabas? He's also getting a lot of backlash on social media, and some are also saying that the administration, university...
Professor Nawangu is very knowledgeable.
Yes.
He's not running the institution alone. He has other colleagues of his. But you see, whenever there is in a situation, there is always a way out.
Yes.
Makerere University is a public university. The government has fully opened institutions of higher learning, has fully opened the economy. let the students come back on campus. Then the institution starts discussing. You know, you can do it like program by program.
Yes.
Students can tell you, for us, for this course, we can do it online. For this one, we need face-to-face. You discuss. You have that kind of conversation.
Yes.
And then later on, you will finally decide on which courses to conduct,
Yes.
like online, full online. And at times, you have to advertise them as such. Because you don't admit me to a full-time campus program,
Face-to-face, full-time program.
and then because of COVID, you say you can start online.
Yes.
And then when COVID is over, like they say, no more lockdown,
Yes.
fully open, you say you stay online, but I didn't apply for an online program.
That's true.
So I have a case, and you should listen to me. We should negotiate and have a middle ground.
Yes.
So for me, it's all about negotiation, it's about discussion, but this is an issue that involves even the government, the Ministry of Education and Sports oversees Makerere University, the National Council for Education oversees Makerere University, it regulates higher education. Now, there are programs like nursing, like medicine, like engineering, all these practical programs, agriculture. These students want to be in the labs at Makerere.
Yes.
And Makerere University does not have enough internet labs.
Yes.
You know, like you can go on the internet and do experiments. So these students have to be on campus. Now, again, the ones in humanities and social science, they will say, so we need to meet our supervisors. If we are not back on campus, these guys will never listen to us. They don't take our calls, we don't want, you know, there are all those challenges, supervision and so on. So to me, the best thing is bring them back, have a discussion, then decentralize slowly or gradually.
All right. So how can the guild and the university administration come together to work harmoniously? Because the guild president of Makerere right now and was very fired up and very upset about the strikes. She did spearhead the release of some of the students that were arrested. So how can the guild come together to ensure that such tragedies like the student who lost his hand don't ever happen again? Because this is not the first time.
Yes, when you talk about the guild coming together,
yes,
or coming together with management,
yes.
For me that one happens when somebody becomes a guild president-elect. That's when you start. And of course there are these issues where you say this guild president is from FDC, is from NUP,
Yes.
is from NRM, and so on. But the moment this person becomes a student leader, you have to know how to work with that person.
Yes.
And I think the Vice Chancellor, the Dean of Students, and other leaders at Makerere need to engage that lady. I know she's from NUP.
Yes.
To engage her, to make sure that the interests of the university are taken care of. They agree on the modus operandi, how really they are going to work.
Yes.
And that way, the guild president will feel comfortable when there is any issue
Yes.
to walk into the Vice Chancellor's office, the Dean of Students' office. For when I was VC, the student leaders had open access.
Okay.
They would come to my office anytime.
Yes.
Now, when it came to other staff, like maybe heads of departments, deans, and so on, some of them, what they wanted was like, I need a letter for a grant.
Yes.
I said, for those who don't have to come to me, send it by email to the doctor and send you the same day.
Yes.
Then we'd come and discuss just things that are really serious.
Yes.
Through that, I was able to decongest the Vice Chancellor's office. There used to be chairs where people would come and sit. There was almost nobody. But whenever there were issues with students, I would just discuss with them and that's it.
Yes. So is there any compensation for the university students who got hurt or harmed during strikes? Is that a policy that Makerere has put in place or is planning to put in place because they get harmed on university property?
You know, I cannot speak for Makerere, and I've been away from Makerere for some time.
Yes.
But if like a student is in the lab, and then you kind of get your hand cut or whatever it is, I think you should be compensated. But now, when this happens amidst the strike, you know,
there are going to be casualties.
Yes, unless if you have ensured yourself as a student, I don't think they will be compensated. But you know, again, it's all about goodwill. Government can come in, or Makerere University can come in, and say, this kid lost his arm, and they do something. I mean, but I don't think Makerere University is obliged when somebody is involved in a strike. If it was like somebody passing by and, you know, accidentally this tear gas kind of hits you and like that. But if you're already involved in a strike and then you lose your arm.
This gentleman was not involved in the strike.
He was not.
He was in his hall, and that is Lumumba, and the canister fell on his bed, so he was trying to throw it out and boom, it exploded on his hand. Yes.
That one really should be, his issue should be looked into.
Yes.
Because now he has that permanent damage forever.
Yes.
At least they should compensate him. Really, that one should be compensated.
Absolutely. So how best can the university work with the students to ensure that they continue the online classes? Should they partner with service providers? Should they now give the students a maybe
but if you have 30,000
yes,
students,
yes,
how do you ensure that they have this data?
but but the university is putting in place and making it compulsory for online classes.
But that's what I'm saying. You see, you have to address the side of the staff, ensure they have data, they have facilities, and they are able to actually deliver online. Of course, even the content that is online, it has to be good content.
Yes.
Then you have also to ensure that the students are able to access the online classroom, because they are no longer in the physical classroom. For them to access, they must have good internet connection. They have to have access gadgets, like a good smartphone, a good laptop. And those were not requirements when they were being admitted.
Yes.
Now they're already in the system, you know, it will be fair for poor parents. You know, we are not all rich.
Not all of us are, true.
Yes, we are not. There are people who are selling everything they have to just raise fees. When you start telling them again, buy a laptop, buy a smartphone, it becomes too much.
Yes.
Makerere University is not only for the rich.
Yes.
So the issue is, to what extent has Makerere University facilitated these students
That's
to have
a good
access?
question, yes.
Are there do they have a scheme or for like cheap laptops or cheap smartphones? While these students are going to pay gradually, you know?
True.
You have to prepare them. So to me, if Makerere University wants to continue online, of course it's up to the Senate and the Council to decide. But my advice would be, ensure that everybody has access, equitable access to learning. And if it is just for a small group, then there's a problem.
Yes.
Because the other students will remain in the system, but they will not be studying. And at the end of the day, you can graduate them, but they don't have any knowledge, they don't have skills. Then we shall go back to reskilling, retooling, you know, which is very, very expensive for the employers and for this country.
Yes. And how would you advise the students to, you know, properly and effectively tell or express themselves to the administration, as opposed to, resorting to such aggressive
You see, the best way for the students to express themselves. In this case, this is an academic matter.
Yes.
You would expect students in each school or in each college to go and meet with their deans or principals, but they are away. But they can also arrange, they can have representatives. They have meetings.
Yes.
Like I've said, programs are different. There are programs that you can't even teach online. If you taught them online, when you finally open up like now, they have to come back on campus and do like 2/3 within campus, because these are practical courses. That's why medical students have to be in Marago and other places. You know, engineers have to be in their labs. You know, the labs at Makerere, agriculture, the same thing, and so on. So you remember when you used to have strikes of staff?
Yes.
And then they would not access campus.
Yes.
They would say they can't do research. Their specimens are dying and all that stuff. It's the same thing with students. So most programs Makerere University is running in various colleges, the students must be on campus.
Yes.
For at least 2/3 of the semester.
Yes.
Now, for me, the issue is, let them go back to the discussion table and really look at these issues and have a best way forward. But I wouldn't want to leave it just to Makerere University. The National Council for Education has a role as a regulator.
Yes.
You know, the Ministry of Education and Sports, as a ministry responsible for higher education,
Yes.
it has a key role.
Yes.
Makerere University is a public university. You know, I don't want to say that even parliamentarians can come in, but Makerere University is a public university.
Yes, it is. Yes.
So you have to say, what is happening at Chambugo? Are they also teaching online? Guru.
Yes.
You know, Busitema,
Yes.
Kabale University, Mbara University. I'm not saying Makerere University can't be unique, but I know Makerere University is big, it's complex, and I can assure you, more than 1/3 of the staff at Makerere, they don't know how to use e-learning properly. Yes.
So they're
we
not
have
ready.
these challenges, but a good number now because of COVID must have.
Yes.
But also you have to know that in the public universities, when you allow students to be away,
Yes.
staff have all the time to do what they want.
True.
You get it?
Yes.
So they don't want these students to come back and then they are busy again. So they are saying, no, it's okay, let's do our thing. You stay away, we shall find the time, maybe at night, whatever, to teach you.
Yes.
It's not good for the students.
It's true.
Let them come and make these guys busy. They are being paid well.
Yes.
So let them work for the money. Let the students come back and they teach them.
Lastly, as a university administrator, has your university fully opened physical classes? That is the Uganda Technology and Management
Uganda Technology and
University.
Management University.
Yes.
For us, what we have done, we had that discussion with the students.
Yes.
We discussed with the postgraduate students, with undergraduate students, program by program, course by course, like process by process.
Yes.
So certain courses, students like on postgraduate programs, they say would like to take this course online because like maybe it's starting at 5 in the evening.
Yes.
And they are leaving office. There is a lot of traffic jam.
True.
They say for us, we have good internet connection in our offices. Let's have it online.
Yes.
We remain in office instead of being in the traffic jam. We take that course. We say fine. You get it?
Yes.
So you discuss course by course, program by program, and so on. Whether it's undergraduate, postgraduate. But now, almost all the undergraduate students wanted to be on campus say, come back.
Yes.
The first years. The second year, some of them say, these courses want to take online, these ones want to take face-to-face. We say, fine. But for all practical courses,
Yes.
we require them to come and take those
Yes.
practicals on campus.
Yes.
Yes.
Oh wow, that is very insightful and very considerate of you. And
We
your
had a
administration.
discussion.
That's important.
Because like when we partially opened up, remember that time of COVID, say you like by 6, was it 6?
Yes.
When the borders are off, we told the students, can you come back?
Yes.
And for us, we thought they should come back and study from campus.
Yes.
But then they told us, there is no way we can study because when it comes to 6 p.m., we have no borders. We are going to be stuck. So we kept them online. The ones who wanted to study in the evening, but the ones during the day who wanted to come, they came on campus. It's a matter of having that dialogue, that discussion.
All right. So, Professor, before I let you go, any closing remarks for the students at Makerere University or the administration at Makerere University on how they can best handle this situation?
For me, the remarks are just for all of us in the education sector.
Yes.
I can say that technology has come, is going to be with us.
True.
Online education is here to stay. But we have to plan for it. We have to move online gradually. Even institutions like Harvard, MIT, that a long time ago came up with online libraries.
Yes.
Computerized a long time ago. Had all these online courses, they still had to go back to the classroom and continue teaching students in the physical classroom.
Yes.
It's been many years, many decades when they've been online. For us, we're just going there. So we have to plan as a country to ensure that this thing of moving online is good. We can use it now for distance education programs.
True.
But for campus programs,
Yes.
where your admissions come on campus, we have to be very careful to ensure the blended mode does not disadvantage students.
True.
Let's do the mix well. Let's do the mixing well.
Yes.
And then everybody will be happy.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Professor, for joining me right here on the Twitter Jabs on Sunrise at Sea. Don't go anywhere. We have more lined up for you. Coming on is our next segment of wellness. And if you want to be a part of our show or our conversations or a part of our Valentine's special and experience this year, all you have to do is follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Like, share, and tell us why your loved one deserves to win a prize from us right here at CTV. We are also streaming live on our Facebook page, and that is at CTV Uganda, and on our website, and that's at www.ctv.co.ug. This is Sunrise at Sea. Don't blink.